Living in the frequency of love. Some people are born with a high love vibration, and others are fortunate to grow up in such energy. But many of us spiritual beings have to work at allowing that love to come through, to flow through us easily and unencumbered. It is easy for us with our human ego to regress into fear or anger or resentment and judgment in reaction to our very human relative reality experiences. This morning I'm going to be talking about some of the ways that we may cultivate and live in an intentional life based upon the frequency of love and enjoy the transformation that this brings to us. Some of you may be wondering what the difference between a vibration and frequency is. So I looked this up for you. The dictionary states that vibration refers to the oscillation or movement of atoms and particles caused by energy. And that means also our body, because we are made of energy, atoms and particles that are moving, oscillating. Frequency, on the other hand, refers to the rate or how fast or how slow these oscillations are, these vibrations, these movements are. But for the purpose of this message, I'm going to use vibration and frequency, the words, interchangeably. I'd like to begin by sharing an insight that I gained about vibrations and sound several years ago when I was helping a Salina friend. And I'm going to call her Mary for privacy. Mary had completely lost the hearing in one of her ears due to a tumor which developed in her head. Experts told her that there was nothing that could be done to restore the hearing in that ear. They called it a dead ear, an unfortunate term. Mary was very worried about losing the hearing in her living ear. And then she learned about the possibility that a device called a cochlear implant might be able to restore the hearing in her remaining ear up to 70 or 75% of the normal range. Nikki, stay down, baby, stay down. That's right. Go back to sleep, honey. I don't know where he was, but he's suddenly here and wanting attention. But anyway, she decided to go ahead and have the operation, to have the cochlear device implanted in her head. And it was placed right in back of her living ear, which was the left ear. About a month after healing from this surgery, I assisted Mary by driving her back and forth to Wichita, Kansas, to the Wichita Ear Clinic there. Wichita is about an hour and a half away from Salina, where we live. This was so that she could attend classes at this ear clinic. And she had to be at the ear clinic every other week for almost a year. I learned a great deal about hearing, about sound and vibration, about crystals in the ear. So many things that I was unaware of by going with my friend Mary to the clinic. Initially, I didn't understand that she needed to have lessons in order to hear with the cochlear device. That surprised me. Her actual training sessions lasted about 45 minutes while I waited in the waiting area, but after her actual sessions in the booth, the sound booth, were over, the audiologist would come and get me so that I could be a support for Mary during the consultation part, which followed the sessions. I took notes for Mary on what the doctor said because her hearing was not that well in that remaining ear. She wore a hearing aid in that ear. The doctor explained that the cochlear device did not pick up words as we understand them, but rather it picked up sound. It picked up vibration, which it turned into electrical signals, and it sent these electrical signals to the brain. Mary had to teach her brain how to reinterpret the sound vibrations, these electrical signals. And I guess they sounded like zzz and zzz, sounds like that, and hums and things like that. At least that's how it was described to me. During the 2 weeks before every visit, Mary would work on her own, working with her computer and the program that they furnished her with to train her brain to recognize the signals that her cochlear device was transmitting to her brain. These sessions tired her out really quite a bit. But over that year, things became easier and easier as she began to learn the language of her cochlear device. And at the end of that year, her hearing in her living ear did improve. Last week, I read a chapter called The Law of Vibration in Eric Butterworth's delightful book titled Celebrate Yourself. I was reminded then of these trips that I made with Mary to the Wichita Ear Clinic and what I learned about sound and vibration and electrical currents. Frequency. In his book, Celebrate Yourself, Butterworth wrote, "Vibration is everywhere, at the root of all things. Even the simple act of voice communication is really not so simple." Butterworth explains it in a simple way, that when we think thoughts and we speak those thoughts, we generate vibrations. Our thoughts, he wrote, are energy being expressed, and they cause our vocal cords to vibrate. And these vibrations are sent out as sound waves, which vibrate in the eardrums of the person that we're speaking to. Invisible sound waves being carried into the ear of the person we're speaking to, or of the persons who are listening to us speak. It's really quite miraculous. Then these vibrations that the listener receives are decoded by their brain into an awareness that a message is being received. This then leads the listener to generate thought vibrations in response to our thought vibrations. Eric speaks of the particles which make up our bodies as singing our song of life. I love that. Our bodies sing our song of life. He wrote, "We have a body that breathes and walks, and vibrations that we give out or express, these may be positive or negative." Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore realized that our bodies are electrically charged. Even the cells in our body vibrate with life. And she began healing her body by speaking positive words to the organs and cells which were diseased or distressed in her physical body. Positive words vibrate at a higher level or higher frequency and speed than negative, life-denying thoughts and words. When we react with anger, bitterness, or fear to the problems or challenges that we face in life, we are projecting negative, or I might say low-grade vibrations to the world. And in this way, we are part of the problem, the human problem. The frequency of love lifts us to a higher state of consciousness where our vision becomes clearer. We can see when our thoughts, feelings, and our actions are life-denying, are minimizing and victimizing of ourselves or of others. And we are empowered by the vibrancy of this love in us, God's love in us, to free ourselves from these kinds of expressions. It's not right away. We're here learning in this school called life how to do this. Jesus, of course, learned how to do this, and he was so good at it that he expressed this love of God constantly. He said, "He who sees me has seen the Father," meaning I'm expressing that divinity within me. And his work here, his message, his teachings, his example, are all about encouraging us to do the same. He said, "The things I do, you shall do, and greater shall you do if you believe." If you believe. in that Christ, that aspect of God that individualizes in you. Because all things are possible with that presence and power that indwells you, indwells me, and all people, indeed all life. So we are empowered to free ourselves from any negative expressions. We learn how to do that in our prayer, meditation time, in our study, in our learning how to use affirmative words. Think affirmatively and express affirmative words, affirmative language. We're able to release our fears, our guilt, our judgment, our greed, envy, arrogance, all those things that the ego specializes in. And how good it is to know that we can be free. We are freed from the baggage of negativity and limited thinking. We begin to feel lighter and we shine brighter. We become the magnet that's attracting our good. Remember that law of attraction? Well, it's always working. Our thoughts, our attitudes, our beliefs, our behaviors are expressions of energy. And depending on the nature of the energy we put out, the kinds of vibrations that we send out into our world, according to that, do we receive from life in kind. Jesus spoke about that too. Something like whatever we give out in life, we will receive. When we live in the love vibration, we know that's beyond an intellectual knowing. We know with our heart, with the soul, we know that all aspects of life are connected and that we have the potential, the opportunity to express this wholeness in our outer world. Often, any sense of brokenness that we have is due to feelings of unworthiness or pain from the past that we may still be clinging to. Living in the frequency of love, we can forgive ourselves and forgive others for the mistakes of the past, because living in the frequency of love keeps us focused in the present moment. Right here, right now is the moment we live, the moment of power, the moment of change. We realize that we are connected and we are at one with ourselves and all that is. We can tell that we are living in the frequency of love because we can feel it. It feels like a natural high. Oh yeah, a natural high. It's a feeling of connection, of wholeness, of lightness, of expansion. Life seems easier, more happy, more alive, more rewarding, even when there are problems to be dealt with. Even then, especially then. Only we see these experiences not so much as problems to do battle with, but as opportunities for greater understanding and growth. To strive continually to live in the frequency of love means that we are also having to train our ego to let go. To let go of the fear and judgment and self-righteousness and critical nature, judging everything. But no matter how spiritual we think we are still having a human experience of trials and tribulations, progress and relapse. But it's all right. We don't have to deny or condemn our human vulnerabilities. These are the things that help us grow, that challenge us. The goal is to be positive and let the intelligence of our heart guide us through and past these expressions. Prayer, meditation, inspirational readings, service to others. These are all excellent ways to level up our love frequency. Other strategies include seeking the good in everyone and everything. It's a wonderful exercise to challenge ourselves to see the good in those people who seem to be the most problematic to us. Number 2, bringing trust to adversity. To stop doubting all the time and trust that God as good is working for our good and the good of everyone involved. 3, be grateful for what we have. Because what we have, this attitude of gratefulness opens us up to see even more blessings. It opens our spiritual eyes. Gratitude, that's what gratitude is for. That's the purpose of gratitude. It's not so much to give thanks to God as it is in thanking God, we open ourselves up to receive the activity of God. You see, there's a difference. Another is taking the high road in any conflicted situation or troubling relationship. You know, they go low, we go high. That probably sounds familiar. Also, creating a sacred space of peace and beauty in which to renew ourselves. This could be someplace in your home, on your patio, or outside somewhere in nature. A favorite place in a park, on a park bench, okay? Anywhere. And caring for living things. This blesses us. Talk to your plants, folks. Talk to your little furry pets. Your little furry buddies, okay? Talk to your spouse and your children with love. Also, be kind and forgiving. And here's one. Do things you love as often as you are able to. And this includes laughing, singing, watching movies, dancing, yoga, going out to eat with friends, having your favorite meal. You know what brings you joy. You know the things that you love to do that puts you in that love frequency. There's something called Random Acts of Kindness. And there's Random Acts of Kindness Day, which is February 17th. But online, you can look up Random Acts of Kindness, and you can find entire lists of different little things that you can do to be kind, to be compassionate, to be inspirational and uplifting and supportive, not only of yourself, but of other people. And these things, smiling at a stranger, giving a kind, uplifting word to someone who's having a bad day. Now, don't push yourself on anyone, okay? That doesn't help. But I have a 94-year-old friend, and she tells me all the time that she'll be in the grocery store in line and get up there, and the cashier looks like she's having a rough day, or someone else that she's near, another customer, okay, as she's going down the aisle, and she'll just openly say, you know, you look like you're being challenged. You look like you're going through something. Can I give you a hug? Now, of course, this was before the age of the pandemic, okay? So now, you know, we do elbow bumps and all these things, or we just hug in mind, in our heart. But there are so many little things that we can do that make a big difference, make a big impact. When we are living in the frequency of love, we find these things to do. We're open to these little things, okay? Someone said, leave an inspirational card or a message in the mailbox, thanking your mail person, okay? I thought it'd be fun to go down and put a flower in mailboxes, okay? And don't let anyone know you're doing this. Let it be a surprise. Let it be a wonder for them. I found online an example of 2 people who were living in the frequency of love. And I want to share this story with you. This first one here, a student was graduating from high school, but he was barred from his graduation ceremony for wearing the wrong shoes. So, one of his teachers who was there at the graduation gave him the shoes off his feet. Devarius Peters wears shoes that, he wore his tennis or sneakers to his graduation ceremony. He had the cap and the gown and the robe, okay, and a black pair of sneakers that had a white sole on them. And he thought he would be okay because they were black. They had all received instructions on how to dress for the graduation, and part of that was that they were being told that they had to wear black shoes. According to the dress code, it said male students were to wear dark dress shoes, with an emphasis that no athletic shoes were to be worn. Well, DeVarius Peters showed up that day in black leather sneakers, and while they weren't traditional dress shoes, he said, I thought I could wear them because they're black and they're good looking. He said, adding that he abided by the rest of the guidelines, which stipulated that they had to wear their white dress shirt and tie and dark dress pants. But he was stopped from entering the door. He said, I was in shock. I felt humiliated. I just wanted to walk across the stage and get my diploma. He started to panic. He said because he was imagining what his parents out in the audience would think if he wasn't permitted to attend his own graduation because of these shoes. He didn't have time to run home to change. He didn't have time to run to a store to buy a pair of dress shoes. And he paced nervously outside the convention center where the graduation was being held until he suddenly spotted a familiar face, John Butler. Butler is a para-educator at the school, and he mentors many of the students, including Peters. He was attending the ceremony as a parent rather than as a staff member, since his daughter was also graduating. Peters ran over to the teacher, Butler, and explained the shoe situation. And of course, that sounded crazy to me, said Butler, the teacher, who has worked at the school for 2 years. He said there was nothing eccentric about his shoes. He approached the woman who had barred Peters from entering, hoping that maybe if she saw the student with him, she would let him go in. But this woman insisted on not letting this young man in, and he said, I didn't have the time to go back and forth with this person. So without hesitation, Butler bent down, undid his shoes, and did what he had to do. He gave the student the shoes off his feet. And he attended the graduation in his socks. What a wonderful love frequency thing to do. Would you have thought about that? Take the shoes off your feet to give them to this student so he would not miss his hard-earned graduation ceremony. And there was another one. A person named Chris Blaze. He went to buy a Samsung washer and dryer from a guy who was asking for $500 for the set. And Chris had just become a new father and had an infant at home. He said, I just had $400. And so I spoke to the man. I said, I'd be really, really grateful if you would let me have the washer and dryer for the $400 that I have. And the man did. And he took the washer and dryer home, and he'd opened up the dryer. Everything was working really great. He opened up the dryer to check the lint filter, and he was shocked what he found inside. $400 was sitting in the lint trap. The $400 that he paid the man for the washer and dryer. And he got a message from the man saying, check the dryer, a gift for the new baby. He said, man, words cannot describe how grateful I felt. I felt so blessed, and I am so blessed right now. He said, I felt that I had to share this online. A big shout out to the man, David. Thank you so much. Thank you, David, for living in the frequency of love. Even doing what you love to do, you get to live in the frequency of love. Raise your vibrational level. We are one after all, you and I. Together, we suffer, together we exist, and forever we're going to keep recreating each other as we interact and teach each other valuable lessons. Remain true to yourself, but move ever upward toward greater consciousness. I'd like to share with you from the love and the wisdom of the famous French priest and paleontologist Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. I'll share some of his words about the frequency of love energy and close with this. And then we'll move into a Buddhist meditation called loving kindness meditation. Chardin wrote, "By means of all created things, without exception, the divine assails us. It penetrates us. It molds us. We have imagined it as something distant and inaccessible, when in fact we live steeped in its burning layers." He wrote, "We are not human beings in search of a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings immersed in a human experience. Love," he wrote, "is the most universal, the most tremendous, and the most, mystical of cosmic forces. Love is the primal and universal psychic energy. Love," he wrote, "is sacred reserve energy. Love is an adventure and a conquest. It survives and it develops like the universe itself, only by perpetual discovery by us, in us. Love alone is capable of uniting living beings in such a way as to complete and to fulfill them, for it alone takes them and joins them by what is deepest in themselves. Love is the affinity," he wrote, "which links and draws together the elements of the world. Love, in fact, is the agent of universal synthesis." Isn't that beautiful? Love is the agent of universal synthesis. What paralyzes life is lack of faith and lack of courage. And this difficulty lies not in solving our problems, but in expressing our problems correctly. He said, "Sooner or later, in spite of all of our incredulity, the world will take this step. Because the greater truth," he said, "always prevails, and the greater good emerges in the end. The day will come when, after mastering the ether, the winds, the tides, gravity, we shall all master the energies of love for God. And then, for the second time in history of the world, man will have discovered fire." Blessings to you as we learn how to live in the greater frequency of divine love. And now I'd like to share with you the Buddhist loving kindness meditation. Now, ideally, this meditation is done for about 15 minutes, but we don't have that time here. So we're going to move through this, and you're welcome to re-listen to this meditation or to copy it, or if you would like, find it online. Just do a search for Buddhist loving kindness meditation, and you will probably find an audio file that you can download and just sit down and move through that experience of getting more deeply into the frequency of love through loving kindness. So what I'd like you to do is sit back in your chair, or if you're lying down, just let your body relax in whatever is holding it up. A big part of our human situation is that many of us don't feel connected to others. And this low sense of connection impacts our health and our well-being on every level. Wars are begun between people when people feel little connection with others. So, this loving kindness meditation is designed to help us experience our connection with others and with ourselves. Because we're not always kind to ourselves. Self-criticism is psychologically destructive. On the hand, self-compassion, the opposite of self-criticism and self-loathing, is incredibly healing and leads to resilience. Resilience is the process that we all have, the possibility that we all have to adapt well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, and other significant sources of stress. So we begin. You might like to close your eyes. Sit comfortably, as I said. If you're sitting, put your feet on the floor, flat on the floor, and sit up straight. Relax your whole body by being aware of your breathing. We always have the breath to come back to center us. Take a deep breath. Let this air move through your body, relaxing muscles, nerves, and cells in your body. And then exhale this air. And as you exhale, let this air carry with it any tension, worry, stress in your body. And continue breathing in. I relax, and I let go when I breathe out. To teach your body what it means to relax, an exercise that you could do is to just tense your entire body. Just tighten everything up and hold it for a couple of seconds and then let go. Feel the relief. You can teach your body that this is what you mean when you want it to let go, relax. Okay? Now, as we breathe in and breathe out, we become aware of that presence of God in us. Because this breath is the activity of this presence in us, bringing in new air, revitalizing our physical body, revitalizing our mind, our soul, our heart. We become aware of receiving love and the kindness of others in this first portion. With your eyes closed, think of a person close to you who loves you very much. And it could be someone from the past or someone who's present in your life now. It could be someone who has passed on to the other side of life. It could be a spiritual teacher or a guide. Imagine that that person is standing on your right side, sending you their love energy, sharing the love of God in them with you. Imagine this person is sending you wishes for your safety, for your well-being and happiness. Breathe in and feel the warm wishes and the love coming to you from that person. And now bring to mind this same person or another person who cherishes you deeply. Imagine that this person is now standing on your left side. Now imagine that you are surrounded on all sides by the people who love you and have loved you. Picture all of your friends, all of those who support you, surrounding you now. They're standing, sending you wishes for your happiness, well-being, and health. Bask in the warm wishes of their love, coming to you from all sides. You are filled and overflowing with warmth and love. And now you want to send this energy back to those who are sharing their love energy with you. So, in your mind's eye, visualize your own love from within, flowing outward, touching all of them. The one on your right, the one on your left, those who are surrounding you. And just give them that energy of healing and upliftment. It's the God in you connecting with the God in them. Now, affirm silently 3 times to all of these loved ones. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. Affirm, just as I wish to, may you be safe. May you be healthy. May you live with ease and happiness. And now, send this same loving kindness energy within you to the world. Everyone and every being, everything in the world. Imagine, you've seen pictures of the earth. Imagine that earth in your mind. I wish to. May you also live in joy, in peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free of all pain, worry, sickness. May you live with ease and happiness. Take a deep breath now. And breathe out this loving kindness to the world. Every being has this love of God in them. Connect with that love and help them to release it and share it in our world. Take some few moments to around you, in others. Be open to whatever you're guided to do that might bring a smile, an upliftment, a healing touch, a healing word to someone else and to yourself. And now we allow ourselves to feel grateful. This love is. It is in us, expressing through us, as us, and we allow it to. We live in the frequency of love, and we're so grateful for this awareness. Thank you, God. Amen. Take several deep breaths, and when you're ready, open your eyes and return to this experience of togetherness here at Unity of Manhattan Live.